going back and doing something completely different. And that may not be a Xbox thing, that might be a Microsoft thing, but um, to gamers, it's all one and the same.
You should go refresh the redirect. You should be able to see it now.
Okay. Well, I didn't even go in there. I was just waiting for you to tell me it was in there. So edit.
I'm showing some amazing Forza Horizon 5 gameplay.
Lord.
You know, some of the best driving in games you've ever seen.
Don't say that too loud.
Let me get I'm gonna put the link in the chat too.
Okay. So when I click this button to go to edit, it's not.
You go to edit.
Yeah, I'm going to edit, but it's for some reason when I click edit, it's not pulling anything up.
Yo, this might be. I'm seeing the same thing in YouTube Studio. It won't open up edit.
It's not opening edit. That's weird.
All right, well, look, the link is in the chat.
The go that way.
Yeah, because it's not actually allowing us to do anything.
That's weird. Yeah, it is not doing it. That's a first.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's just keep it going. Sound check on the DPS side of things. Can everyone hear me good? And can everyone hear? Well, actually, you know what? Yeah. Everyone should be able to hear me and Forte fine.
Yeah. And if you're still in the DPS in the chat on my channel, click the link in the chat and it's going to take you over to the other one, because for some reason we can't redirect because the feature is broken right now. So I'm gonna end the stream here. Okay. But anybody that's still in our chat, make sure you head over to that channel.
Okay. Final topic for tonight. This Phil Spencer interview. So Phil Spencer was at the GDC Game Developers Conference, and he did some talking about his desire for an Xbox handheld. He did some talking about desire.
My desire to do this. My desire to put Game Pass on PlayStation.
Right. He did that, and he also talked about the potential of having some PC launchers be integrated into the UX/UI of this new Xbox handheld that they may or may not be. Look, let's not deal with the ifs. They're definitely working on the handheld, right? So this Xbox handheld, they are talking about potentially having PC launchers like Steam and the Epic Game Store being available within the launcher, and within the Xbox handheld, and that's something that you already have with PC handhelds now. Like if you own a Asus ROG Ally or the Legion Go, like from Lenovo, or even like the cheaper cloud options like the Logitech G Cloud. If you own those, then you already have multiple launchers available to you. But this would be a bit different because they would be implementing them in a more seamless manner, where maybe players of someone who owns it is looking for a particular game and don't even realize that the game they're looking for is on Steam or Epic,
right.
Because the UI doesn't change simply because you are searching within a different store. That's a hypothetical. I don't know for certain, right? But Forte, what are your thoughts about potentially having an actual dedicated Xbox device that's doing all that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it would probably be the best implementation we had of a console like experience on PC, like the Steam Deck was hoping to be.
Hmm.
I think it would probably have a little bit better adoption for the fact that it's predominantly console first, and then it just has the capabilities of being able to have Steam integration and all the other stuff like Epic integration,
Oh,
all of these
hey,
cool things. Go
real
ahead.
quick, did you end the stream on your side?
Yes, I did.
Okay, okay, cool. Just want to make sure there's no echo stuff. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, yeah. I ended it. Um, but I think that's the biggest thing for me. A lot of people have been saying like, well, how are they going to sell this system and they can't even sell the systems they have now? But I'm saying, but that also this kind of speaks more to the ecosystem they want to be a part of, not just the console ecosystem. They want to be a part of that PC ecosystem too. Um, and Xbox's number one priority in gaming was to be the center of your living room, and they kind of lost that fight. But now this puts them in a situation where they can kind of probably get back into some of the good graces of some of the developers too, because developers have been coming out pretty much complaining about just overall, about the console and everything. Um, but I also think this is going to be another way of them saying like, hey, if you have a console like this and the platform isn't just Xbox, and we can like co-develop games for PC too, that's going to make them kind of still want to put the games on that platform because it's not just an Xbox. It's like I said, the Steam Deck thing with console qualities, and that might actually benefit them a lot more. And then it just gives them better chances to integrate their overall systems and stuff when it comes to like Game Pass integration and everything, and not really depending on other form factors or other platforms to like do it for you. I think that's always been one of the biggest problems Xbox had. They always want to depend on somebody else, like to come up with the solution, like especially like VR. They let everybody else come up with a solution. Like, Phil said they wanted to do VR, but then they didn't do VR. Then they said they wanted to come out and they wanted to let their third party partners deal with VR, but then that never materialized. And now you have the situation with the ROG Ally where, Asus is doing the heavy lifting, and it's working for a lot of people, but then there's still some situations, some stuff going out, driver support and everything like that is kind of hindering. And people look at that platform as the Xbox platform for the most part, because the reason they mostly get it is to be able to play their Game Pass games natively on there. I think it's just time for Xbox to just come out and just make a system that, does it all for them. And I think that's the plan that Nintendo did. They made that decision a very long time ago to say that we're exiting the traditional console market and we're going to make our own lane. And a lot of people are going to say, well, with the Switch 2 coming out, why would people buy this over that? It really just comes down to third party development, because developers for Nintendo, when it comes to third party, they still haven't really picked up and started making the games on the Switch like that. Yes, there's a lot that have, but you still can't buy Madden, on a Switch. And I still don't know why you can't play Madden on the Switch, but they still haven't. EA still hasn't made one for it. But they made FIFA on the Switch, which is weird. So I think these are all different things that developers might be a little bit more keen and a little bit more adapt to actually trying to get a part of. But for the most part, I just want to see Xbox do something different, because what they've been doing hasn't been working on a consistent basis. It may have worked year to year, like month to month or like quarter to quarter, but it's not sustainable for them no more.
Hmm. All right. My
What
thoughts
you
on this
think?
hand. So I'm not. There's a
Slomo says
chance
for the
for this.
bomb.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm not trying to, because like it's not. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's so
not.
simple that this thing is just gonna stink and that's it. And I don't want people to think, oh, we just SloMo hates
This
everything.
is better driving, by the way, just to let you know.
Oh, I thank you. I told you I had
not,
excellent driving.
I didn't say excellent. I just said bet. Well, see, and at that point, you just tried to knock Woozy into the wall. Well, go ahead.
Look, that's how I race, man. My e-brake is your car. My e-brake is your car. Yeah, that's me hitting you is how I drift. You know, like your car is a bumper for me. You know, it's how I turn. Anyway, look,
God.
So Xbox handheld. I think it would be better if this was an option. You know how like in this current generation they had the Xbox Series S and X, which you know their idea was we're going to give you power and we're going to give you convenience, a cheap option. You know, so a cheaper option for you to get your games. And so far, you know, selling not as well as the Xbox One, which was they admitted a disaster. But the split between the consoles of their install base, I think somewhere anywhere between 25 to 30 million is 50-50 between the S and the X. I think it would be better. This idea of having this handheld is actually better with using that kind of philosophy, where if they decide to go this route, to have a traditional console and a handheld. I think that would be, but I don't think that's what they're doing. I think that would be better for like the way they did things this generation would be better for them next generation with an actual handheld. It looks to me, and this is just, you know, no inside information or anything that I know, but it looks to me like what they want to do is have a handheld that's more powerful in handheld mode than the Switch 2 is going to be. But then when you dock it, maybe you might have something like an eGPU or something like that. So this would be a pretty big dock, right? This wouldn't be like the little thin dock that you see with the Nintendo Switch. This would be something that almost kind of would be like a bigger device that you would slot the handheld into, that would then give you the ability to play games at a much higher fidelity and better performance. That said, I don't think something like this is going to be like a significant jump in straight on like rasterization, straight rendering of things, a bigger jump in that kind of performance, because of the nature of that device. When people look at PC handhelds, they're what they care about the most is power draw, because that's more important than you trying to push 1440p resolution and 60 frames per second. Like maybe the device can do that, but at those parameters, how long is your battery going to last like that? Like that's far more important. And I think they are done with trying to battle PlayStation on the power narrative. I think they're more about trying to deliver a device that people, that not just people, and not just us, because they don't really care about like you and me and Forte, or the primary demographic that watches this podcast. They don't care. They have proven time after time, and even more so this year, they do not care about our generation at all. What they care about is Gen Z, and Phil in his interview mentioned Gen Z. That's what they care about. They care about the fact that those people, those gamers, tend to play on whatever. They'll play on phones, they'll play on tablets, they'll play on PC handhelds, they'll play on PC, and they kind of they play on mobile phones, and they kind of find consoles, a traditional console, restrictive. Yeah. And I think that's a mistake on Xbox part. to abandon the people who got you here and the people who have been supportive of you from the very start to go after a demographic that you're not quite certain you can actually get. Because I said this in my live stream that I did lunchtime with SloMo yesterday. That Microsoft doesn't know how to do branding. They don't understand how things work. And I really don't even think they really understand what their brand is from the eyes of the same demographic they're trying to market this device to. Xbox is considered the old man's console. By the younger generation, it's old. Like, it wouldn't surprise me, especially considering how they took the Xbox Series X and S logo off of the pages for their exclusive games on the Xbox website, that it wouldn't surprise me at all if they may brand this new device as not Xbox, but something else. Because the Xbox brand worldwide is not favored like highly. Like, when you're bad at localization and you do bad ports of games and you don't market your devices correctly, and it's difficult for people in other countries to be able to even get your device or even know where to get your device. Like, no one cares about an Xbox. And so maybe you just don't call it Xbox. You call it something else. I don't know. But I think they have a difficult time with the entertainment industry, because this is what it is. This isn't like stuff that we need. This isn't stuff that we gotta have, even though, as far as some of us is in the gaming community, you feel like you gotta have it, but it's not necessary for life or your job. This is for entertainment. It's for fun. And Microsoft has made their bones and became the richest company in the world, not off of entertainment, but off of productivity.
Yep.
Utilities that people need for work. And you don't need to market that in a manner that tugs on the emotions, that is about the brand. It's not necessarily something tangible that people can say, oh, well, it has these features and this is why I want it. It's just, it's brand loyalty. And they never had to engender that for Windows. People hate Windows. Absolutely hate it. But everybody uses it. People don't care for Microsoft Office.
That's true.
They have no loyalty or no motion towards it. No one says, man, I still remember the first time I made an Excel spreadsheet. No one gives a crap. But people will tell you the first time they picked up and played Halo. Because it's entertainment and it's different. And the things that they excel at, and the things that, like, their idea of how, like, all we care about is data. Data. The data says this, the data says that. This is how they make all their decisions, about the data. But the data can't tell you why someone would choose a product that is inferior hardware-wise to another product, but still do it. 9 times out of 10, they'll choose that other product instead. The data won't show that. They don't understand these things. And so that's my biggest concern with this, because it could be a great device and the software could work, and the integration of these PC storefronts could be awesome, even though Steam ain't giving them a cut of of sales. So I think in terms of how their devices used to, like, anything that's sold on the Xbox right now, they either getting 100% of the revenue, they're getting 30%.
True.
When you integrate these other stores in, you're not getting that anymore. These other PC handhelds, they're not getting, like, if I buy Baldur's Gate 3 on Steam and I play on a ROG Ally, Asus got 0% of that revenue. And that's going to be Xbox if someone buys a game through Steam on that device. Because the storefront is still Steam. It's still Steam that's handling that. So they're losing money there. So you're going to have to make sure that on the other side of things that like you're really, really selling a lot of these. You're hopefully getting to the point where the device is profitable for you at launch, which here's another thing. Don't expect this for the prices that we normally see for consoles. Anywhere between $300 to $500. That's out. I think PlayStation 6 is going to be $600. This is going to be something like that or higher. You look at how much the Legion Go is. The Legion Go is like $700. The highest model of the ROG Ally is like $600-700. Like that's the range for these kind of devices. You really have to look at those things all together and then look at who the Microsoft gaming division is. And it's, let's just keep it a buck. Let's be honest here. Phil Spencer has been talking about fixing the Microsoft Store on PC for how many years? He has acknowledged since like 2019 that the store stinks. And here we are in 2024, and the store isn't that much better. I reinstalled Starfield about a month or and a half ago or so, maybe about a month, maybe a few weeks ago, to try the game out after the new updates, and I couldn't play the game because I had some weird error that didn't make any sense. And I looked up the error online, and they were just like, there was no solution. The issue is in the store and on Microsoft's side. Go play something else. That's unacceptable. And there's no other launchers on PC that have that kind of problem. They have got to get better at this stuff. When you want to make the PC, you're now competing against Steam. You want to make the Steam. Valve has a Steam Deck, and by the time this thing comes out, the Steam Deck 2 will be out.
Right.
And Valve has a head start on Xbox when it comes to these kind of devices already. They didn't work the kinks out on their UI and how to really do this, and they're going to improve upon what the Steam Deck already is. You're kind of, behind in the race when it comes to that. Now you're more competition for them, because if someone buys an Xbox handheld, guaranteed they're not buying a Steam Deck 2. I mean, like only really enthusiasts would buy both. And so when it comes to this Xbox OS, this UI stuff, people are saying, yeah, man, I want that. I need that. Give me that. And they're ignoring the history of Microsoft with that.
Yeah.
I trust Valve's ability with Steam Deck 2 to make their OS fabulous than Xbox. And check this out, right? So it's funny because when Steam Deck came out, and Phil Spencer was like, "Oh, this device is great. Yeah, we're gonna work with them. We're gonna get you guys the ability to be able to play, get your Game Pass and everything integrated seamlessly in Steam Deck." What happened to that? They didn't do that. Instead, there's a whole process of essentially going through browser to access Game Pass and play xCloud on Steam Deck. And xCloud sucks now. I mean, it's been sucked, really, but it's even worse now because you gotta wait to play the games.
True.
Now that they're making their handheld, they want Valve to allow them to integrate that into their UI. But you wouldn't do that for Valve on the Steam Deck. So if Valve's going to allow you to do that, I guarantee Valve's going to be like, you're going to do that for our Steam Deck too.
Yeah,
There's
because
gonna be
I cause that
some
yeah,
reciprocation here. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
we not gonna get cucked the way you get cucked in the console market when you put your games on Nintendo and PlayStation and they give you nothing back. So we ain't doing that over here on the PC market. Steam doesn't need you. Steam has a massive monopoly when it comes to PC storefronts in the PC market. Steam does not need your integration. You need Steam's integration. They got leverage. So something they're going to have to give up. They're going to have to give up integration into that Linux-based Steam OS for Steam Deck 2. These are things you got to think about. And I think Valve's going to be better at implementing those things than Xbox is, because quite frankly, the Xbox consoles still don't have the recording and the capturing and recording things that were great last generation, but they broke it when they came out with the Xbox Series consoles. They still ain't fixed that. So remember who they are when people are like, yay, Xbox OS. Yay, Xbox handheld. Yay. But it's Windows based. But it's PC based. Yeah, you're going to be able to get the access to your catalog, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't even care. I got my back catalog, and then I'm going to be able to get the new games, even though barely any of y'all play your back catalog like that. Whatever, right? Fine.
Nobody plays their back catalog.
But you have to acknowledge, that they suck at doing these things on PC. The Xbox game bar with recording, awful quality, absolutely awful. I don't even use it. And NVIDIA GeForce Experience Shadowplay, the new NVIDIA app, better, way better. Using OBS, better. If you have an AMD GPU, AMD Adrenalin software, way better than Xbox Game Bar. Like, I think because people are not in the PC ecosystem and they're in the console ecosystem, that they think, oh, it's going to be great. And I'm not saying it's not going to be great, but I want you to think about like things that you haven't had the experience because you're not PC gamers, and what we deal with on the PC side of things, and why PC gamers will still look at this with the side eye.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know about Xbox's history on this side of things, and they promise a lot and they deliver very little.
Dang. Woo. Man, listen. Xbox is me and Aradas was saying that, you know, that they're making more revenue, and the biggest thing is like around sustainability, and I think they're sustainable. It's sustainable when it comes to their services and their software side. I just don't think like consoles, you know, set traditional consoles isn't sustainable for them. Um, I mean, but you got to kind of just listen to what these companies tell you. You know, the fact that Satya is trying to find a way to offload Windows from basically making it virtual. You don't even have to have a, you know, a PC to be able to access your um your Windows device. It's like they're trying to divorce themselves of any hardware at this point. I mean, of course, they're still going to need hardware for certain things. And I think that the moment you'll see Microsoft not really dealing hardware is basically the same as when you won't see people dealing with physical goods anymore for the most part. Um, Physical goods is, especially when it comes to games, 75 to 80% of the market is pretty much physical, I mean digital at this point. But that 20% is very big. I mean, when you think about 350 million people, you know, 20% of that is dang near 100 million people. So, you know, that's still a big portion of gamers that rely on hardware. Now, the biggest thing with Xbox is they have the smallest portion of that community of people. They only probably have, if what, maybe 16%, somewhere probably in that 16 to 20% range, maybe 25 at the absolute highest. Because Nintendo and PlayStation pretty much split the rest of it. And then it just gets even more anchored down more when you start adding PC into that, whereas PC is the biggest gaming platform of all of them. So this is just more of a confirmation that Xbox is trying to find a way to stay relevant in a ecosystem that has kind of told them that you aren't good enough in the things that you're doing to be here. And that is more of a problem because Microsoft, it's more of a problem for Microsoft in general because I feel like Microsoft just took too long to support them long term. Like it shouldn't have took all the way to 2015, 2016 for Microsoft to decide that we want to back Xbox 100% fold. It shouldn't have took the acquisition of Activision Blizzard for Microsoft to say we want to pay more attention to what Xbox is doing. We want Xbox to be not just a pillar of Microsoft. We want it to be a staple of Microsoft because of the amount of users that Xbox can bring in just due to the demographic of what games are and entertainment. Xbox, this is the biggest form of entertainment media that Xbox has in gaming. So that's a gateway to a younger generation that they're not going to get when it comes to maybe the PC side because guess what? A lot of these younger people, they're on iPads and stuff. And who owns that? Who owns iOS? Apple. A lot of these people are playing on Android and stuff like that, or they're doing a lot of their things through AWS, through Google and everything. So as much as Xbox has built their platform on things that people need, the more we get away from people that know that that's how what you have to operate, because I think Xbox will always have, not Xbox, I think Microsoft will always have a place because big businesses will always most likely go with something with like Microsoft when it comes to like their suite of services and everything, until they don't, because that can always change at any moment too. But they also don't want to lose the fact that these younger generation of people that are growing up are being introduced to other things, other ecosystems that can get the job done for them just as much, being on iOS when it comes to MacBooks and stuff like that, or, not buying Surface Pros and going to iPad or, things like that. So I think this is just another way for them to be there, say we can't lose gaming because gaming is like our footprint or like our entry point into younger people's lives. Because right now Microsoft's an old company. It's an old heads company with old head thinking practices. And I think they just took too long to get to the point where they was gonna say Xbox is something that we need to invest in 100%. And they just don't understand what they're really in for. I think, gaming is something that is very fluid. It's very passionate. It's got people that love more than anything. It's a very creative space. And that is something I feel like Microsoft and Xbox haven't been over the course of the last like generation and a half. Not saying they can't get there, because they just find themselves purchasing things to help them get there. But what do they do once they acquire that said talent? Does that talent produce for them on a consistent enough level for them to be where they are? I would say no, because 2018, a lot of these studios got purchased and we're still waiting for some of the first games from them. So there's a lot of different things going on
Yeah.
there. And we're in 2024, 6 years later. Now, some of those games, like I said, I knew it was going to be a huge write up to get to this point because a lot of those studios had obligations. And I remember you said this before, SloMo. You said when you purchased those studios, I'd have been like, how much it costs to get out of these deals? Because these games, I got to get these games on my platform now
Right.
because
And
I don't
and
have anything.
I think they would have been better off making those games exclusive, even though like they wanted to like not like upset potential partners or current partners by doing that, but make it right financially. Like you acquired the studio, add bring in the cost of taking those deals for, like, for example, Obsidian. Like it is 2K's I forgot the name of their publishing arm that does, like, basically they just publish like indie AA games, and I forgot the name of it, but like that, whatever they were paying to make the Outer Worlds happen, make them right, and then give them the money back that they already put into the game and then some, so that it's still like there should be no hard feelings, because you're even though they're not generating the money off the revenue of the game, you still paid them for it, right? Thank you, Lucius. Private Division, that's it.
Private Division, yeah.
Just pay Private Division whatever that you were supposed to, like, they expected to make, and then the money that they spent on the development of the game, and you make the Outer Worlds an exclusive, because that game turned out to be a Game of the Year nominee the year it came out. That could have been an exclusive game for you. And I understand games like Psychonauts 2 was kickstarted, so was Wasteland 3. Those games were kickstarted, and in the Kickstarter terms, people were promised versions of those games on rival platforms. So you can't pay them. You can't do anything about that, because that's customers there that you're potentially upsetting. But these other games that could have been made exclusive, you could have got yourself more exclusive content by doing that. But they wanted to be nice.
You talk about the PlayStation games, like Deathloop and
and screw it.
Yeah.
Sony.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, you paid what to make this exclusive for a year? Here's your money back.
Here's your money back, and
here's your money back,
and the money that you're going to lose on not being able to sell the game.
Right.
Because the way I look at it in that situation, and this is probably the first time I really thought about it, this probably would have saved you from, having to put down $50 million to get a game like Star Wars Jedi Survivor inside of Game Pass, because you didn't have any other games. If you would have had, I know that game came out way later, but I'm just saying, like, all those games that you made those deals for, like Outer Worlds and stuff, not Outer Worlds, Outriders, not saying that you still don't make those deals, but you could be a little bit more strategic with your third party deals inside of Game Pass, if you would have just went out and spent the money to actually tell people, like, hey, those games that we acquired for those studios that we purchased, those games are only going to be on Xbox. And we made deals with the people that those games were going to make it right. But we want to make sure that, as an Xbox gamer, you're a first class citizen, like Phil Spencer said. And that's the one thing that's been missing in this whole dynamic over the course of the last couple of years. Like, Xbox I feel like they do a really good job of getting people hype, but then when the hype hits a fever pitch, they just step on a rake.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it sits on that. But I don't know. With that being said, Phil Spencer, I remember you used to say Phil Spencer talks too much. He does too many interviews.
He does. I'll say this: I still feel the same way. I would even say I would go a step further. Why did you promote Sarah Bond, the president of Xbox, when every time there's hardware to talk about, you're talking about instead of Sarah Bond? The same day he's at GDC talking about an Xbox handheld, which is hardware, Sarah Bond is on Twitter, not at GDC, talking about astronauts.
Listen, I was wondering that too, because like I was like, they're at GDC, and all I see, because Sarah, and God bless her, she tries. I think she tries her best to stay super positive, because I mean it has to be frustrating with the situation that Xbox is in, and with her being, she's a part of it, and but she tries to do really well and go on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it now, and she tries to like talk about games and stuff, and I commend her for doing that. But like you said, that is real weird that Phil Spencer is having interviews with Polygon talking about hardware, whereas the person that you appointed to be over the hardware section of Xbox isn't the one doing these interviews to talk about it. That is something to kind of think about.
Yeah, I just find that very odd that here's the president of Xbox not talking about the hardware, and he's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, so yeah, I mean, like he
He can talk
has
about anything he wants,
he
right?
can talk about anything he wants, that the stuff that's under his purview, but like it just seems strange to me that like they had her at the business update when nothing that they had to talk about at the business update technically was really her, her purview. That's Matt Booty and Phil Spencer. And it was mostly bad news for if you were an Xbox gamer. But, when there's good news, she don't get to announce that. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's something. Well, with that being said, sir, you got anything else you want to say about what's going on with Xbox? Oh, I do want to mention this about it. So, what do you think about? And I talked to you about this earlier. So this is supposed to be a big year for Xbox. Not only are they releasing a bunch of titles this year, we're also going to get a chance this June to see a lot more titles for the latter part of this year going into next year, which you will probably think is games like Fable and stuff like that, or it maybe even Contraband or something like that. But there's literally no excitement right now. Like everything with Xbox is just doom and gloom. Why is Xbox making these decisions? But we literally got a
I
game.
hate the term doom and gloom. I hate that term.
I do too, but that's what it.
And let me tell you why I hate it.
Like. Go ahead.
I hate it because people use it as a cop out from addressing like real issues that people have.
Oh no! Well, no,
well, I'm not saying you are, but like the way it's been used, it is used to dismiss people's concerns. And whenever people have concerns with what Xbox is doing, people, we got this doom and gloom going on again. How about you actually address what people have to say?
Right.
You can't just blanketly call everything doom and gloom without actually talking about what the actual issue is.
That's a good point.
And I see that far too often, and I know what it is. It's a tactic that is deflecting from the actual issue at hand because they don't have an actual response. They don't have a real solution or a real way of explaining what you're saying isn't right or not true or shouldn't be that big a deal, whatever, because they have the same concerns, but they don't want you to talk about it because they just want to, defend the brand. So.
Yeah. So what do you think about the overall just aura of the community right now when it comes to like Xbox in general?
I think people,
but they're not excited about it. Really,
I think
like they're excited.
I think there's a lot of people on the Xbox side of things that are at their wits' end with things. And look, the console war is over. Like it's when you start putting your games on other platforms, the console war it don't exist no more. And so that's the wind out of people's sails has been taken away. It's that the intensity that they had to fight for a brand is no longer there, and that's what some of that is. And for some people, I'm not saying this is everybody, but some people ain't really been playing games like that anyway. They've been spending more times with list wars and fighting for, a brand and saying, oh, why did this game skip my platform that you weren't going to play in the first place? And so when that's the case, and now the console war is over, what do you got left? Microsoft has got, even though their games seem to be somewhat backloaded, they got 5 games coming out this year? And that's not including DLC for games like, continuation of games like Sea of Thieves and Forza and stuff like that. And, they got 5 new releases coming out. Shouldn't you be excited about these things? Shouldn't you be excited about Hellblade 2 and Avowed? Should you be excited for Indiana Jones? Well, maybe your excitement felt better for you when you thought those games, when you were certain those games weren't going to PlayStation.
Oh now man, not like this.
Now you're not so certain. So
not like this. Cool. Well, with that being said, man, really appreciate the conversation on it. That's a wrap. DPS podcast 173 in the books. Very light week. We do what we can. It's a lot of conversations going out there about all this stuff, and we're definitely going to talk about more and more of it as time happens. But make sure you guys enjoy your week and enjoy your weekend and everything. And SloMo, what you got going on your channel? Where can people find you and everything else?
Lunchtime with SloMo as usual. Maybe a video or two. We'll see. I know I said that like this is not. I was
like, why do you even say that at this point?
Look, man, you never know. I might surprise you.
These people
okay?
hopes up.
I might surprise you. Okay, you never know. You never know.
Slow No Videos. That's his new name. Slow No Videos. Go ahead.
I'm just looking at the chat and everybody's just I don't know what PlayStation has to do with Xbox, but okay.
They talking about you know how that is.
But no, yeah, man. Look, I may go live on the DPS channel. Play some games. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. Playing games. Who does that? Such a maverick. But that's it. That's about it, man. That's about it. What about you, bro? What you got going on?
Jump back into Final Fantasy. Jump back into some Battlefield. Get onto that. Continue to go to the gym, playing Pokemon and stuff. That's pretty much me. Trying to get this other project done, but outside of that, man, just trying to be more healthy about everything. That's all you can really do at this point. And
big facts.
Definitely. So with that being said, I really appreciate everybody in the chat, and shout out to the channel members of Brat Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Mash, Texas.
Why did you say that like
Mash?
What is this accent? Stop doing it. Forte. Stop with that accent. Has got to go. No more.
Mash.
Oh my gosh.
Brat Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Mash. Texas. Corey Hill.
Your boy Roy, FTW, Dada Brown.
No one can hear you. no one knows what that was.
Ramon Terrell, Hargy Chani, SloMoBackSlap, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Really appreciate all you guys and all the love and support. For myself, just check it out. You was already on the channel earlier, and got some Xbox videos coming out, just videos in general, because it's not really just about Xbox. It's, you know, we just gonna make gaming videos in general, things that we like to talk about. So subscribe to the channel for that. SloMo, what about you and your channels?
We got the membership side of things. On this side is the legendary Yobi, Neil S, Stardust Acero, Texas, your boy Rory, Corey, Hale, Donnell Brown, Jay 387, Enrique, Hargisha Nee, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, and that guy Smitty. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy some games out here. And we're going to get up out of here, man. Hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah, have a great day, guys. Appreciate you. Peace.
Terrible.
Why it was terrible.